Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this afternoon's update on Tropical Depression Debby. So, Debby has weakened to a tropical depression this afternoon, and looking at the 4 p.m. update, Tropical Depression Debby has maximum sustained winds of 35 miles per hour, gusts up to 45 miles per hour, is moving to the north-northwest, and has a minimum central pressure of 998 millibars. Taking a look at the latest cone for Debby, Debby's going to move into south central Virginia as we go into 1 a.m. tonight as a 35-mile-per-hour tropical depression with 45-mile-per-hour gusts moving to the north-northeast. And then Debby is going to really pick up speed, racing through northern Virginia, western Maryland, into northwestern or northeastern Pennsylvania as we go into 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon as a 35-mile-per-hour post-tropical cyclone with 45-mile-per-hour gusts moving to the northeast. And then Debby's going to move through eastern New York State into northwestern Vermont into southeastern Canada, and then going into 1 a.m. on a Saturday, looking at a 35-mile-per-hour tropical depression with 45-mile-per-hour gusts moving to the east-northeast, located just northeast of Sherbrooke, Canada. Debby's then going to move through northern Maine, northern New Brunswick, and then finally dissipate across the Gulf of St. Lawrence, going into 1 p.m. Saturday afternoon, looking at a 35-mile-per-hour post-tropical cyclone with 45 miles per hour gusts. So taking a look at the latest watches and warnings for Tropical Depression Debby, we have tornado watches for central and eastern North Carolina and Virginia in the yellow areas. We have just a whole lot of flash flood warnings across North Carolina and Virginia in the green, and we even have a tornado warning northeast of Raleigh-Durham. And these tornado watches are going to be in effect until 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time this evening. Threats include a couple of tornadoes possible across eastern Virginia and North Carolina. So taking a look at the key messages for Tropical Storm Debby, or Tropical Depression Debby now, heavy rainfall across portions of the Carolinas is expected to persist through today along with areas of considerable flooding. Heavy rainfall will also result in considerable to locally catastrophic flooding impacts across portions of the mid-Atlantic states and northeast through Saturday morning. Tropical storm conditions will continue for several more hours in the tropical storm warning area along the coast of northeastern South Carolina and portions of North Carolina. Coastal flooding due to storm surge is likely to continue along portions of the North Carolina coastline for several more hours. So taking a look at the latest rainfall forecast from the Weather Prediction Center for the next 3 days, looking at 1 to 2 inches of rain across most of New England in the light green, eastern New York State, northern New Jersey, southeastern Pennsylvania, eastern Virginia. As we start going to these darker green shades, looking at 2 to 4 inches of rain across much of Virginia, western Maryland, Pennsylvania, New York State, eastern North Carolina. Could be seeing localized areas of 4 to 6, even 6 to 8 inches of rain in these yellow shaded areas across mountainous areas of Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and southeastern North Carolina. So we're still going to be seeing considerable flooding across much of the mid-Atlantic and northeast, but thankfully any catastrophic flooding should remain localized from this point forward as Debby slowly winds down. However, we're still looking at a high risk of excessive flooding rainfall for today across portions of North Carolina and Virginia in the pink shaded area, including Wilmington, Raleigh-Durham, and Roanoke. We have a moderate risk of flash flooding across the Carolinas through Virginia, through West Virginia, portions of Pennsylvania, New York, and Vermont in the red. And then taking a look at our day-by-day, for today, for the day 1 outlook, we have a high risk of flooding across portions of North Carolina and Virginia in the pink, moderate risk across portions of North Carolina, Virginia, eastern West Virginia. And then looking at tomorrow, moderate risk of flooding across eastern central Pennsylvania, eastern central New York, and much of Vermont in the red shade area. And don't sleep on the tornado threat either. We have already seen several tornadoes spin up from Tropical Storm Debby. We have a 5% chance of a tornado touching down within 25 miles of a location this evening across eastern North Carolina and eastern Virginia into northeastern West Virginia, and a 2% tornado risk in the green extending into Pennsylvania and the Delmarva, and then taking a look at a threat for tomorrow. Slight risk for eastern Pennsylvania, portions of southern New York, New Jersey, for a 5% chance of a tornado and a 2% chance in the green. This includes major cities like Baltimore, Philadelphia. So make sure you're really paying attention to the tornado threat from Debby if you live across the mid-Atlantic this evening and the Northeast tomorrow. So this is going to be my final update on Tropical Storm or Tropical Depression Debby. If you live across the mid-Atlantic through Northeast and New England, make sure you're preparing for considerable flooding and tornadoes, especially tornadoes this evening, tonight, and tomorrow. Thanks for watching this evening's update. Before I go, got a new area we're going to be watching across the main development region with a 40% chance of tropical cyclone formation over the next 7 days. Thanks for watching this evening's update. Please stay safe and have a wonderful evening, my friends.